My name is Lawrence Ray, also known as LRW3. And today, man, I have some of the most respected men that I know in the room here with me, man. Guys, I truly value their opinion, and guys, I feel like will really solve the objective I have here for today. This is the first official gentlemen's conference I have hosted by Talk to Me Nice here at 1212 Music Incorporated Studios. I want to first start by thanking them for letting us use their location. I'm not going to talk too much because obviously we got a full conversation ahead of us. I'm going to have the guys. I guess I don't know the easiest way to make this happen, but I'll just everybody introduce yourself real quick. Let everybody know who you are. Whoever want to start it.
Well, I'll pop it off. I'm Trey Payne, aka DJ SB. You can follow me at one SB the DJ on Instagram.
Shit, I'm Al the Death Dealer, Alan Gray, Black All Comics on Instagram. Yeah.
I'm in Travis Taylor, also known as Mr. Rock Out the Barber. You can follow me on Instagram at Mr. underscore Rock Out the Barber.
My name's Curtis, also known as CJ. You can follow me on Instagram as the_black educator.
My name is Lance. You can follow me on Instagram, Lance underscore can, CANN.
I'm Chris Shumford, known as Shumford Photography. You can follow me on Instagram at CEO underscore Shumford Photography.
Jerry Shaw. You can find me on IG under Jerry Shaw, the realtor. I'm your local real estate agent.
Dave Dirty, the real Dave Dirty, Instagram. There's a fake one.
My name is Christopher Jenkins, also known as D Main LaFleur. You can find me on Instagram at D Main LaFleur, Main spelled like the state.
Darius Fuller. You can find me on Facebook, Darius Fuller, or IG, IMDVRI.
My name is Keyshawn Brown. You can follow me on Instagram at platinum underscore cuts by Sean. Y'all already know what time it is. This is the mindset. Let's get it.
My name is Bryson Bagley, other known as Bags. You can follow me on Instagram at it's the underscore Bagman with 2 G's. Y'all already know who I am. I am the cartel. Hey, y'all, if y'all don't follow me by now, something wrong.
So all the guys, just for my people watching, all the guys were sent the questions ahead of time, so everybody knows. Basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read the questions. There's nothing added. There's nothing new. Everybody already knows the conversation. I'm just gonna read the question out, obviously, for the viewers' purposes, so they can understand what you all are discussing, and then whoever feels the need to chime in. Obviously, everybody's not required to speak. Whoever feels the need to chime in, then of course take a mic. Let us know what you got to say about it. So the first question or the first topic is regarding becoming a man. The first question is basically it says, who were the men around you growing up? Were those around you a positive or negative influence? How important is a male influence on an adolescent mind? The main question to think about on this one is, regardless of upbringing, at what point must a man take accountability for his own decisions and not refer to his past trauma? Whoever wants to speak, the floor is open.
I like the word accountability because accountability takes everything else out of the conversation. You have to look in the self to see the next step that you need to take as an individual to try to fix any situation as a whole that involves anybody else. But accountability, so when you have to make the decision for yourself as a man, I think that's when you make that transition, and you should take the past out of it. Hold the past into accountability and take your experiences and roll with it. But accountability for what you are doing, and when you have to face up and make the life decision is when you really step up and take that title as a man.
Anybody else, anything to say about this topic?
I agree with what he just said. Like, as soon as you get to an age to where you can make conscious decisions about life, like real life choices, that's when you should start taking accountability for the stuff that your past don't matter no more. Like, once you start paying rent or taking care of kids or whatever like that, you should start become a man. You should be like, hey, all that bullshit I did when I was 15, 14, 13, whatever, what they put me through when I was younger, all that is out the way, because now I am responsible for somebody maybe, but I know I'm responsible for myself.
For me personally, I had positive male influences in my life as well as negative male influences in my life. From that, growing up in my life, I took things from that. Like, I learned from the negative things I saw as well as I took the positive traits. I feel that you can't call yourself a man until you're able to take accountability for what the decisions you made in your life. If you're still making the excuse of, well, I'm like that because that's where I'm from. I'm like that because I never had the opportunity. You can't really call yourself a man because you're still making excuses for yourself. So in order to call yourself a man, you have to have that accountability feature, but that also has to be an influence in your life that you gain from someone. Having a male influence in your life is very, very important. I know that we always say, a woman can't raise a man. My mother, for the most part, raised me, but she also put me in the situation where I had other male influences in my life where I could see, okay, this is how a man operates. This is how a man does things like this. And even in situations where, okay, this is how this man operated, but that's not the way that I want to operate. And, and not having that influence in your life, a lot of times that's what we're really dealing with. A lot of these guys don't really have that male influence, or they just have the wrong one.
That's deep. Anybody else? Anything to chime on that?
Just to chime in, when I was a kid, I had my uncle. Uncle stayed with me and my mom. I had my stepdad since I was one, and those were a positive and a negative. My uncle was staying with me because he was running from things in South Carolina. Then my stepdad, he was a positive influence, but it doesn't mean like those things that you see on TV, dad teaching a tie or little stuff like that. I'm missing a couple of those things, and that's perfectly fine. I still came out I'm here, right? But when it comes to how important it is to a adolescent mind, that's where we're crafted at. That's where we're molded at. That's where what you see is what you become, or what you see is what is going to influence or what you're going to become. And when it comes to taking accountability for your own decisions and past trauma, there's teenage boys who are men. There was grown men who are children. So your age does not depend on that. It really depends on your situation. So to say what age or what point, it's not defined. It's not a science. Who gonna tell me LeBron James wasn't a grown man at 18? You asked me when I was ready. It was probably about 3 years ago. I'm 30 now. I was probably about 27, 28. Around COVID, honestly. So 2 years. And that's where I was like, man, I'm good, but I'm not. What do I actually want? Where do I want to be great? Do I want to keep letting the past hold me back? And without taking that into account, I'm not sitting in Warner Robins right now. I'd probably still be in Charleston, South Carolina, being okay with average.
Deep. That's deep. All right, man. We're gonna Trent. You got something to say?
Yeah, so for me, unlike a lot of guys that I do know, I had my father in my life. My father was my positive influence, and a lot of guys that do know me, he was a positive influence to them as well. But I also had my uncle. He was not a positive influence, but he was positivity for me. His decisions helped me become a man, for me to know what not to do in certain situations, in certain cases. But as far as just him looking out for me, he was positive. He did everything right by me. He never put me in a bad situation. He led me to do better things, even though he was making the wrong decisions. So I wouldn't necessarily say I had a negative impact in my life, but when it comes to taking accountability for my decisions as a man, I feel like probably once I hit high school, once I started taking care of myself, buying my own things, what I did outside of my parents' house was me. I had to take accountability for that. Like when I got my first speeding ticket, I sent my dad and my mom a text, "Hey, I got a speeding ticket." Okay, what you want me to do? Like, that's yours. So it was, hey, I got to take accountability for my decisions, my actions, and that's how I've been ever since. Once I got out of my parents' house, everything was on me. I might ask for advice, input and things like that, but I knew in the end, the decision I made, I had to take accountability for.
That's deep. That's deep. All right, guys, we're gonna transition to the next question. We got a couple of topics to tackle. Excellent start to it, man. That was actually the question I was least confident in. So like To see what y'all just did with that one, man. Let's keep it going, man. The second question is regarding losing men to jail. I'm gonna read some statistics. Obviously, I sent you all the source on it on the material, so of course you could verify and do you whatever get your own sources if you wanted to. But I'm gonna read it out, man. This says research shows most males will be arrested for a crime by the age of 15, with the age being younger in larger cities. Black children account for 35% of youth arrests in the U.S., even though they only represent 15% of all U.S. children. 66.7% of all juveniles arrests for robbery involve blacks. 52.5% for prostitution, 76.4% for illegal gambling, and 51.5% for vehicle theft. 70.3% of violent crimes suffered by black victims were committed by black offenders. Question: what can we do to save our youth? Things to consider. White males are 8 times less likely to become a homicide victim than black males. Data shows 93% of black homicide victims are killed by other blacks. Is this a black issue or a crime of proximity? For reference, 84% of white homicide victims are killed by other whites as well.
I would love to. When I got this question, it hit to me being a DJ, and the reason why, because we talk about our youth, and right now, like being a DJ, I'm exposed to our youth more than ever. At one point, and I still am in certain instances, I am the youth, and I think about things that influence me. Now, you talk about saving the youth. Of course, the male influence is huge, whether it's dad, granddad, coach, mentor, the postman that you see, the principal, the janitor, like that's huge. But it's also the male influences that you see in the culture. Um, I truly hate the statistics of black on black crime or the things that influence the black culture because, like, when you really look at it, we are a detriment to our culture. We see sex, money, drugs, and violence. The white people just see sex, drugs, and depression. And so it's no different. It's just the narrative and the storylines that we see on the news about the black man was shot by the black man. Well, in our music, we always hear about spinners, getting your steppers, the stripes. Well, in white music, you hear about popping pills and depression. I'm so sad. So then in white schools, you see kids sad, popping pills, depressed. It's just, it's a proximity thing. It's an environment thing. I truly don't believe that has anything to do with the male influence. I don't think that's a fair thing to pin on a man.
Yeah, and this question doesn't necessarily have to be about males. It's just in general, because like I said, prostitution. A lot of that goes to the females more than likely. I would assume. So this is just,
some male prostitution now too.
I mean,
we'll
it
talk
is-
about that.
No, that's definitely true, but that's probably more accounting for the female. So I guess the question for this, since this is a gentleman's conference, what is our job as males to save the youth? To kind of bring it back to the gentleman aspect of it, what can we personally do?
What can we do to save the youth? Because it's a community thing. One father's not going to save the youth. You see that boy, you see that corner dude doing whatever, you know his daddy, you know this, and none of y'all sat down and say, what can we do to keep our sons from having to go to a gang versus having that same type of security and comfort amongst their own community. It's a community thing because we have apathy towards our own kind. We was taught that way, but we legitimately don't care for the plight of other brothers, so we just turn an eye to it. It's easy to say that because crime is proximity. Poor white people kill poor white people. But there's not a narrative of white on white crime. It's a narrative of black on black crime. They taught us that we have an inclination to violence that we don't have, and we believed it. So now we look at ourselves in the same way that we were viewed by the powers that be. Once we stop listening to the powers that be and you value the life of the person next to you, we do something about it. But we sit back and it's just an apathetic attitude towards our own children. And they're the ones that pay for it first. So it's a community thing for me for what we can do for our sons. Be there for them. And if it's not your son, be there for somebody else's son who don't have a daddy.
Get to this next question, man. Let's get to cooking, man. Some of my guys who ain't spoke, man. Hopefully we see y'all sooner or later, man. Y'all gonna be watching with y'all. I'm so proud of you, baby. When you start talking. Oh, he cut me out of the video. He cut me out. I swear. The bonus. He said it's a part 2 coming. Don't worry about it.
Podcast deluxe.
He said I killed it so bad I need my own video. So like he ain't put me with everybody else. I'm gonna have my own dedicated one. Let's get to work. All right. Next question. This question is regarding black men in media and cinema. This is a long one I gotta read. Okay. Movies and media can influence viewers' opinions about social issues and be regarded as fact without proper research. In a study conducted by Prismicky, I really hope I said that right, young moviegoers and police were interviewed and admitted to being influenced about gangs by what they saw in movies. These studies show to have a substantial impact in how Americans view criminality and its relationship with blackness and the black body. Many concerns have been voiced about a negative portrayal of black people on screen, often used as plot devices to incite fear, anger, or comic relief, but rarely in a leading and positive role. Even in a movie such as Marvel's Black Panther, a global box office phenomenon, that's the first time I ever said that right, that featured a black director and a predominantly black cast, many have voiced the issue that even a character such as Killmonger was there to villainize blackness and the want for equality. Question: do you feel like black men are portrayed fairly in cinema? Who are some good examples of positivity for black people on screen? Whoever wants to work, let's get to work.
So honestly, going touching just a little bit onto the last question is actually where I was going to go. These two tie together to me, and to me, we need to improve the image that children see. When we talk about positive influences, yeah, I wasn't raised in the '80s, but we all know what was on TV in the '90s and in the early 2000s at Nick and Night when it was the Cosby Show. As he is divisive now, but he was a positive image before. Whereas today, the imagery that is glamorized, that is, the mainstay in pop culture. If you're not a killer, if you don't deal drugs, if you don't sip lean, or if you're not on Love and Hip Hop, you're not part of the culture. And when you ask who do we have as positive to see inside of media or anything, it's never glamorized as much as the negative. We have some instances, and but we always focus on the negative, like us focus on Killmonger being a negative stereotype instead of focusing on all of the other positivity inside of Black Panther. That imagery is pushed on our youth more than across any other culture, in my opinion. And they say art imitates life, but it's really just a cycle because life imitates art.
We were already taught a negative perception of how we've seen black people since the dawn of cinema. That was what the first thing. That was one of the first movies ever made, aired in front of people. But then, because I draw comic books, so I can see it too. I think a lot of times, as we're not exposed to black people who do positive. Sometimes they're out here. They're always out here. Like Dwayne McDuffie wrote the Justice League for 10 years while we were watching Justice League. That was a black man. Static Shock, Icon. These were black superheroes. We're asking for Michael B. Jordan to play a black version of a white character when we have like 10, 15 black Supermen in comic books. But our kids don't know that. They're not out there. We don't push all these different spectrums of entertainment that black people are in. And it's just, I feel as far as the media, it's purposefully done. Like there's a certain imagery of black men that is viable to the mass market because that's the way they see us. But we have that responsibility in our media circuits to push those different spectrums of black art, black fashion, black culture. That's our job, to be honest. That's not their job to show every facet of our humanity. And us asking them to do so, we're giving them the power to keep feeding us bullshit.
I just wanted to get on the point of what do we glorify. So it was like New Jack City, Don't Be a Menace, all this gang affiliated movies and shows, Set It Off. I don't know if I said that one. Just stuff like that. We glorified it. It was like, oh yeah, it's cool to be Nino Brown and look what he did. He a boss. He's selling drugs. Oh, look at this. And then coming through it, a lot of that generation was like, yeah, that's what I want to be like. And then we got like in the media, Lil Wayne, who started a whole class of Bloods. And that's just to be honest.
I think
everybody wanted to be a Blood when Lil Wayne was a Blood.
I think the cool thing everybody wanted to be growing up was the alpha male. But I think somehow, at some point, I'm not even gonna say it's our generation, the generation before, it could be a long-standing thing, which it is. At some point, we confused an alpha male with toxic masculinity. Like, yeah, we went from being an alpha doesn't mean I gotta be a gangster too. I think that's a confusion. You can be an alpha by handling your business and putting a positive impact out there. But if for generations the alpha is considered the tough guy on the block, that's going to be portrayed into the media. And then again, that's what sells, like you said. So when you go into the movies and these people, because I mean, let's be real, everybody ain't from the hood, man. Right. So the only reference you have for the hood is what you seeing. So if I ain't been to the hood, but this is what y'all telling me the hood do, this is what I'm finna do, man, because I want to look that type of. That's how alphas act, quote unquote.
Yeah, and another thing, that's a good point. But another thing is, that's hard to compete with. Like you can try to, it's trying to be a parent. You can try to teach working a 9 to 5, work hard, wait a week, 2 weeks on the check, but somebody come out here with a stack of money, and you can't compete with that. They don't want your child over just like that.
I mean, I don't want to say like you're not gonna take the money, but that goes back to your principles because all money ain't good money. Like if you go ahead,
it's also how it's portrayed.
True.
So every TV show we watch, everything on social media, is all showing the same thing.
That's true, but it's also to who you are at the core of yourself. So if you know you got 2-3 homeboys that ain't doing right, why are you gonna be the 4? You can be friends with them all day long, but if inside your heart, bro, you know that's not right, step away, and that's fine. But I guess that goes back to each one teach one. You see what I'm saying? Because when you know better, you do better. And if it's a constant path of detriment, you got a choice to make to yourself to not be the next one to do it.
That's valid, especially about that friend thing you said. Because like I have, like, don't get me wrong, I got love for all my friends the same, but everybody knows you got certain friends you call for certain situations.
Fact.
Like if I want to just go hang out and chill, nothing serious, I might call him. But if I need to talk business, probably ain't calling him type situation. So ain't nothing wrong to like even friends. Like I have friends, man. You know, we grew up with these people, man. You can't take everybody with you, but you can still have love for you, man. Like I got love for you, bro. But what I'm doing and what you trying to do just don't line up. Don't mean I still don't want to see you win. It's just it ain't making sense of what we both trying to do. But like you said, you could try to save them. You could try to tell them, but maybe they path ain't your path. Maybe they got to go through those things. And like you said, don't be the 4th one. Cause like you'll be like, come on, bro, I want to go do this, man. Let's go to this community event. Nah, bro, we finna be on the block. All right, I guess we can go to the block, bro. That's cool. Like that's exactly what he's saying. Like knowing that ain't you. Like Larry can speak to it. Growing up, I was never that guy like, hey man, we going out, man. CJ, hey, we going out. Shit, y'all have fun, bro. Let me know when y'all get back so we can hoop, bro. I like what else? Like that's it. But they were, and that's why the friendship's so good because they weren't trying to change me. I wasn't trying to change them. We had that like a Venn diagram, I guess. We had that mutual. Like that's what you do. This what I do, and that's why positively lane. You weren't trying to bring me here. I wasn't trying to bring you there. So I think that's a good point, man. As far as that friendship point, I didn't even have that. Creating broken households. Again, more statistics. Again, you all can reference these sources I sent you. These aren't my statistics. Only 33.4% of black children live with 2 married parents. 72.1% of African American children were born out of wedlock. Studies show the effect of single parent households include A, crime. Boys who grow up without a father are twice as likely to end up in a jail than those of 2-parent households. B, behavior. 85% of all children that exhibit behavioral disorders come from fatherless homes. C, education. 71% of all high school dropouts come from fatherless homes. D, poverty. Only 12% of children in married families were living in poverty compared to 44% of children in mother-only families. Question, did you come from a broken home? Is there anything that can be done to slow down the rate of so many broken homes or to combat the already existing ones? Floor is open.
And I guess on the broken home aspect is really if you did not come from a 2-parent household.
To me, I'm gonna leave that question kind of general because I don't necessarily like that question because a broken home, it's worded as if you don't have 2 parents in the household, but that's not necessarily fair because you can have 2 parents still
and still be broken, still be a broken house.
Technically, by definition, even though you have 2 parents, that is still a broken household. Home. But I guess it's a broken household, but it's like it's a broken household because they don't live together, but you have your parents, so you still have that aspect. I guess it could be a broken home because I guess certain things like you might not try a pop stayed in the house. You might try because you know you get away with it with moms.
It's some people that grew up in a 2-parent household that's still broken on the inside.
That's a fact.
So like that's why I was trying to and when I read the question, I was like, a broken household. What is that like to create? It's just because you don't have 2 parents, or you have 2 parents and there's tons of conflict, or what classifies?
I guess to rationalize this question a little bit better. For men out here creating children, they are not there for. whatever that means. Single mother households, it seems like a little bit, because I feel like that question is unfair to fathers who do help. They just don't, not with the mother. So the creating broken households like that.
Not to keep saying the same thing, but the system has a lot to do with that as well because in order for these young ladies to get these benefits and all this stuff like that, you can't have the male involved. The male has to be estranged from the house in order to get these certain fundings that certain households have become reliant upon. You know what I'm saying? So I mean,
you wouldn't need that if you had another income, though.
Because I don't care if you lie on the paperwork and say he not involved, but you can't say, "Hey, I ain't gonna take care of the kid because you can get food stamps if I don't." That's kind of how it was worded. That like I don't want to agree necessarily to that point, but like if he's around, but it's like, hey, because we all know the people who like staying like you stay in the house, so every now and then he got to pack his stuff up when they come check, but he's still there. Like so, if he's still involved, it's not necessarily a broken home, but like if you're gonna kind of cheat the system, if y'all cheating the system to get the benefits, that's a little different than, hey, good luck, man. Call the government. They got you.
Off of what you said earlier about like you can have like you won't try your mom the same way you might try your dad. Like my dad, when I knew who he was, I know where he at. Nigga call me anytime he want to. But he was not in the house. When I first moved to Warner Robins and stuff like that, it was just me and my mom. So like when I like started to navigate around, I was terrorizing Warner Robins because I knew he went here. Like what he gonna do? He gonna drive all the way here just to beat my ass? No, I'm gonna do what I want to do. But I know for a fact if he was here, he gonna be like, oh no, you gotta sit your ass down. My dad big as fuck, so I'm not about to try you. So I get it, like I get it. So like if he was in the household with me, some of the stuff I got into and all that kind of stuff, I wouldn't have did because it would have been the threat of him being on my back. But at the same time, like I said, the stuff I did while he wasn't there, it made me in the end. But if I wouldn't have never did half the stuff, I wouldn't have never had a record. I wouldn't have never, you know what I'm saying, met some of the people I met. Like, it just depends on how you see it, really, I guess.
More so like accountability, because my dad was in the military. He was hard on me. But when I got to high school, I wanted to be the big shot. I didn't want to listen to him. I thought I knew everything and got in and out of jail, in trouble. He was always there, and he's still there for me now, both my parents, you know what I'm saying? So I get what you're saying because there's a lot of people like that. But also, like you said, it don't matter if he is or isn't there. Sometimes it's like a certain sense of accountability and choice for yourself, because at the end of the day, you chose to do those things, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people blame that, but at the same time, did you step up for yourself and your mother to be like, hey, I gotta chill out a little bit?
And on that, only reason why I can say this because I went to school with Trey. Mm-hmm. Trey can vouch for me. Like he can tell you, I was running around Northside going crazy, like fighting every day, bullying folk. I was going crazy. Yeah. But when I got older, like I didn't finish at Northside High School. I took it upon myself. I was like, if I keep going to school, I am not going to make it to where I need to be. So I told my mom, I said, hey, I found about this program called Job Corps. It said to get your high school diploma and you get a trade. I said, I feel like that's the best route for me. And it was. I got my trade. I got my high school diploma. I came out immediately with a job. Like, it made me better. But my biggest thing that made me change is the fact that I did have my mother. Like, the fact that I was, like, living with my mom, the stuff I seen myself put her through, that's what made me change. Like, the fact that I got locked up and I got to sit in court and I got to see her cry, like that hurt me to my soul. And I was like, from now on out, I'm going to do what's best for me and make sure I make the best decision.
I had discipline. I had somebody who was on me. They was on me hard, but I did what I wanted to do. I mean, I like real talk. I went through the system. I got locked up, juvie, all that stuff, and it wasn't that. It was people that wasn't trying to get me right. It was just that wasn't what I was trying to hear at the time. So it really comes down to a choice at some point in time. It ain't influence or anything. It's what that person actually wants to do.
Next question is regarding marriage. Between 1960 and 2012, the share of black adults aged 25 or older who have never been married quadrupled. 9% in 1960 to 36% in 2012. Almost 50% of all marriages end in divorce or separation. The usual duration for a marriage is 8 years. Question, is marriage your goal? How has past relationships influenced your outlook on marriage? If you are married, how did you know your wife was the one? And there's a discussion question. If y'all want me to ask it now, just wait till y'all answer that part.
Ask them more.
You want me to ask it now? Discussion question. This question was sent in. It said, "Why do men keep a woman around for years with no intention to marry her? How long does it take to know if you want to marry a woman? Would you want your daughter to marry a man like you?"
I already know how. I don't plan on getting married no time soon. I don't see the point in it.
Keep it 1,000, bro. I think marriage is bigger than just like you meeting one person and falling in love. Marriage is like an institution. Like you're making a decision to build a family. You're very like it's a business. Like when you meet your wife, she's not just your partner. You trust her with your business. You trust her financially. This is somebody that, hey, if I need you to handle this and I can't handle this, I can rely on you. This is a partner. It's the other half. People look at marriage and we look at it from the old days where you just, oh, I love you and I love you too. You married 5 years because there's nothing else there, just infatuation. Y'all just like fucking. But after 5 years, that just, to be honest, a lot of we attracted to a girl, get with her, but we see there's nothing else you want to do with her. You don't want to build a family with her. You're wasting her time. You got a lot of dudes who will carry a girl for 10 years because, oh, I love her, but you don't love her. There's nothing you want to instill in her. There's no values you want to bring to the table. Don't want to bear her children. You don't want to build a family with her. So why the fuck is she around at this point? Just so you can sleep with her? Go sleep with someone else. But in the same time, when marriage is an institution, and a lot of guys
if she still with you for 10 years and you ain't did nothing for her, that's her problem after that, man.
That's both y'all problems.
That's on her.
You're wasting her time. Both y'all wasting y'all time.
Not if you say, hey man, I love you, shit, I'm here because I love you. But if she said, oh, I love you too, but I want more out of you.
The action,
but listen what I'm saying though. If she say I love you too, but I want more out of it, and
if
she don't get it for 10 years, something wrong.
Marry her because that's a tax break. You can file that on taxes. Y'all can do business together, build business credit. If you're not trying to marry that woman after 10 years, you're just as much of a failure as she is. She may not know no better, but if you know better and you're not taking the time to say,
no, because that go back to accountability, dog.
That's accountability. Because if you knew you wasn't gonna marry her, why the fuck are you here for 10 years? Why ain't you tell?
I got some in-house. I got some in-house coochie. I got some in-house coochie. That's why I'm here.
I know my slogan, man. Like I said on camera, man. Enjoy your time with her and give it back to the world. Anybody who knows me now, some of y'all who knew me early on know I was the lover boy back then. Like I'm all lover boy. Now I had some few situations that didn't go my way, and now I be like you said. You know, I know I'm wasting. I'm gonna be transparent. I know I be wasting my time, but I tell her too that, hey, sweetheart, this ain't going nowhere. Now, please don't have me interrupting you from finding your husband. So just so we understand, I'm not your husband. Like that. This is not where it's gonna end at for me, because I know too, and I'm not saying that to be funny, but I've had females I've truly cared about, so I know what that feels like to be like, you know what, I would marry her and I'd be happy with her, and I also know when I talk to you, you don't make me feel like she did. So if that's the standard and you're underneath the standard, sweetheart, we both are wasting our time right now. But I know I'm wasting time because I haven't found that, for whatever reason, I'm not with her, or I haven't found another female who made me feel like that. So I got free time. Let's keep it 100. But I don't want you to confuse my free time with us building, because we not. That's just what it is. I'm just being transparent with it.
But that's accountability.
That is accountability.
But you supposed, I get it to you because you supposed to say that from, and a lot of people don't say that from the beginning. Like you know me, I done said it plenty of time. I done told you plenty of time on it. I do not want to get married. I told her straight up, I don't want to get married.
Man, we can keep it 100 on this podcast. Y'all can this podcast a few times. Right. How many girls have y'all seen behind the camera, bro? Let's just keep it real. But let's just keep it real. This is just some gentleman's conference, bro. We know.
I don't count.
I assume they just mind my
right.
I ain't editing this. I'm gonna keep it real, because the thing is, I can leave this in the video because, like I said, accountability. If I told you this, I don't have to hide this.
If you say it
is what it is.
If you say it from the get go, you ain't got nothing to hide. Cause like I done told, man, hey, everybody know my story, but my baby mom, I told her straight up, I don't see no point in getting married. I see no point in getting married. Like it does nothing for me. But if you want to get married, hey man, shit, do your thing. I ain't about to hold you back.
Anybody else want to chime in on this marriage? Because I think we got a little too toxic right there, guys. Let's bring it back to the actual married guys.
I was just going. Y'all went real toxic. Real toxic.
Hey,
you got to show both viewpoints.
I got a question. How many of us are actually married in the room though?
Boom.
So we got 1, 2.
The married couch over there.
You engaged?
All the married guys over there?
Engaged. I mean, you got me. So 2 weeks ago, I celebrated. 2 weeks ago today, actually, I celebrated 10 years of marriage.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Appreciate y'all.
Beautiful.
So when we looking at how did I know my wife was the
Notes, boy,
one?
you got a sermon over there, don't you?
When
I
we
said,
looking at,
I thought I had a congregation in the building, man.
when you ask the question, how did I know my wife was the one?
Let's go. This is what I want to hear.
So you have a bar set. You said that. You have a bar where you know Shawty that you talking to right now don't reach that bar. So you know what a wife looks like, feels like. You just might not have the
I'm
wife.
not gonna disrespect the guys who marry someone and say I know what a wife feels like, because if I knew that, then I'd have a wife. I know what having somebody I would commit to feels like.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough there. So how I knew my wife was the one was actually technically after we were married. So, and we talked about this on the podcast, but I married for potential. I married for what I saw. I married for the nurturing I saw. I married for the potential I saw. I married for the vision I saw for us. And I told her that from the beginning. And I was like, hey, this might not work. I might be completely wrong. Give me 5 years. Let's see if I am. If we're not, that's that same 5 year. That's when the luster comes off. I told her the exact same thing. I was like, hey, I might not be ready. It might not even be a you thing. It might be me, but something in here feels right. Something in the universe is telling me, hey, chill out. Go ahead and settle down. And I did. We made 5 years. That 6th year was the roughest year of my marriage. We argued the most up through first 5 years, and 7 through 10. We have probably one argument total. But year 6, I was a terror, and we were moving to South Carolina, and it was whole new. She had never been outside of Hawaii. So it just increased the turmoil in the house. But going back to the point on how I knew she was the one, in that first month, I had to have surgery, and she had to take care of me. And that nurturing side, that mothering side that I saw from the beginning, I received full blown. And that told me, like, if I'm down bad from basically the first month of our marriage, if I'm down bad, I know she has my back. I'm gone off my mind off medication. And she's washing me like I'm a child. From there, I knew, all right, the universe is right. I'm good. I just gotta straighten myself out and we'll be fine. So it's really about signs, about nurturing what you really want to see from a woman. And a lot of that is honestly what you saw from your mother. And that's a standard that has to be met.
What?
Do your thing. This is actually gonna be the last question. We're gonna say I think we're gonna have a second gentleman's conference. I'm gonna say the rest of the questions for this, because I see a bunch of guys who still like they got something to say, and I don't want to rush y'all. So we're gonna close it out with this question.
Those that know me know that I'm super observant. But I got a question for y'all too. You said it's an institution, right? And this is, don't feel like I'm attacking you. I don't want you to feel like that. And your points are valid. I'm not married, but I do believe in what you said. You said it's an institution, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you value an institution?
Depending on the institution, yeah.
Do you value the institution that you're married to?
Oh, the one, without question.
Do you?
Yes.
Ring, 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 no ring, and no ring.
I don't believe in rings.
But you value the institution.
I do.
That's just like saying you don't believe in jewelry, but you believe in looking good, right?
Somebody who's not married and is extremely probably the most toxic person in the room. I gotta disagree. I gotta disagree with that. That's like saying
that ring ain't as deep as this tattoo.
Yeah, the ring thing is. I see a point, but that's like saying, yo, you ain't got no bank account, you don't value money. Right.
I mean, but
that means a valid question. I mean, if someone says they're married and don't got a ring, it's a valid question. It's not an attack.
I just want to know, like, I know you. I done heard your point of view before on the podcast. That's why you don't believe in wearing the ring. I just want to know why you don't.
Oh yeah.
I ain't gonna say you don't believe in it, but you just don't have it on today.
No. Me and my wife made a commitment because the spirituality of practice, your roof, it was a bit different than just like saying I love you, you love me, we pass rings to each other. Like, I have a necklace that I wear every day. She inscribed symbols onto the necklace. She made it herself. I wear it everywhere. That necklace is my bond to my wife. That's my bond. I wear it everywhere. You see me. This is the only time I ever wore it, just because it looks stupid as hell in this jacket.
Coincidentally.
But I literally, right? Coincidentally. But
I talk to him every day.
I sleep with the shit on.
And what culture is that?
One of our grandmother's sisters practiced Yoruba, so me and my sister looked into Yoruba just a little bit. I ain't no practitioner, but just we believed in giving more love to our ancestors and looking into that to draw from building institution to our marriage. So with her, I just knew that's who I wanted to be with, and she made it for me, so I just wear it. So that's why when I don't have a ring on my finger, that's technically my ring.
Now, rock out. I feel like the ring is just more of a thing of tradition.
Not to disrespect the tattoo thing too. Having a tattoo with somebody, you know me, y'all in love because I got a tattoo with somebody.
God damn.
Honestly, hear me. That's why I'm gonna ask this, but I'm probably the most toxic person in the room. But
I'm trying to qualify my answers.
And we talking about toxicity though, like, and going back to my wife.
But hold on, but to kind of semi-prove your point, she was one of the people I would commit to, so it wasn't a random person.
And here's the thing, and here's going back to my toxic days. My wife knows, so I'm fine here. But I done slid plenty of rings off. That ring don't matter. That ring does not create an institution.
Hold on, did you just
that ring does not constitute an institution. I know. I done seen plenty of rings slide off.
Did your ring slide off? That's what it just sounded.
My ring never existed.
Bro, hold on. You got to clear this up, man. Hold on.
Before 10
means.
years ago.
That's what he means? Is commitment solid? Because I ain't going to lie. It sounds like you said you cheated on your wife.
Because of me. Rings have slid off fingers because of me. So that's what. No.
Hey, bro, you want me to edit this or hold on?
No. This is beyond 10 years ago. This is a situation my wife knows about. Ain't nothing I'm talking about here. My wife don't already know.
Clear that up because I thought, hey, bro, I know we getting into it. I know we
talking.
It's a safe space. But
I'm talking about. Hold on. I have seen a wife slide a ring off and slide in with me. So why should I believe in a ring if that does not create an institution? That doesn't symbolize an institution.
Get your point now. Okay.
Marriage goes in phases. Like I've been married 5 years. Me and my wife been together 7 years, and I got married when I was young. Like when I was in the Navy. I got married when I was 21, and we was married for like 2 years. And I had that same feel you had. Hey, I was out in the military. She was taking care of everything. I thought it was good, but it really wasn't. Getting married later, me and my wife, we got married when we was 29. It was a different situation. Like it was because I loved her, but it was also a business transaction. It was somebody that I knew what I wanted. I knew that I wasn't gonna just date no girl because she's cute. And you still trying to figure out life, and we 29 years old. Like if you telling me, oh, you've been working at Geico 7 years during the time when I was single, but I want to quit this stable job because I think I want to be a nurse, I knew I wouldn't want to deal with that. So when I met my wife and she was where I wanted to be, it was like, okay, she's financially where I want to be. She's successfully where I wanted to be. And I really care about her. That's how I made the decision. Because unlike him, and I said it before, I wasn't going to marry potential. I'm not going to build, at the age that I was at, I wasn't going to build somebody up at 29. Like, at that age with another 29-year-old, I wasn't trying to say because I'm not her father. We're both 29 years old.
Facts.
You should know where you want to go in life.
That's valid too.
Because if the roles were reversed and a woman was having to motivate me, fill out applications, I'd be looked at as a bum.
You a bum.
So why should I have to do that for a woman? I'm bringing certain things. I'm coming with this, and you telling me that you need me to explain how to do financial aid and do all this other stuff, but you want to be a nurse and you can't take the initiative. Then hey, I'm sorry. I'm not your father. I'm not your father.
I think it's a balance of support.
It's a balance
of support, and you still gotta have the autonomy to do for self.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like my wife was into building shit, and like I'll tell you, she Bob the Builder. She liked to build houses and all that whatnot. But I've seen her make about $1,200 in 2 days. So when someone else be like, "Hey man, you might need to do this," I'm like, "Hey, whatever you need a second pair of hands. You need somebody to lift this because this is financially viable for you. This is what you're good at. I'm gonna support it." If she had no plan and you just running your mouth and just talking to people every day, but ain't making no money, hey man, you might need to go ahead and get a job, my nigga. But like, just straight up. But if you out here, she cooking, like you making money. Fuck, I look like telling you to stop because you have a plan. I can support that. I think it's just the balance. I agree with it because it's the balance. I want to be a nurse, but you ain't looking into it. You ain't even Google that shit. you just talking about it.
You can't even.
What would be the level of importance from love to finances? If that's the case.
Yo, it's equal to me. It's 100 and 100 because if you love somebody but that finance is thrown off, I don't care how much you love that person. Them lights
Whoa,
get cut off.
whoa. Well, hold on. That's different.
That's a valid
That's gonna be a case by case scenario. That's case by case. There are tons of men that are completely fine with, hey, I want you to sit your ass down. I'm gonna make every dollar. I want you to be pretty. I want you to do X, Y, and Z. You ain't gonna worry about no finances. There's also plenty of women that will do the same, and there's other people that are like, hey, we gotta have this open conversation about where our financial is. That's case by case, and I don't think you could let the two truly intertwine or be like contingent upon each other. If your love is determined by money, then you shouldn't marry the motherfucker. Like if that's the case, you love me for my money, baby. Here go the money. Let me get what I need, and we go our separate ways.
If I think about money, if money comes, when I think about you, when I think about money, that means I probably don't care about you.
Bingo. I need your money.
Because
I agree with that.
To speak myself, I've been in relationships where I had a female. Hey, you ain't got to pay for nothing. I got it. And I've been in other situations.
Baby, I need you to
Baby,
go
you
half
got your
on me.
half, baby.
Yeah,
Hey.
fact.
Baby, you got to pay for your own. Oh, my tire went flat. Hey, girl, my tire went flat. Ain't nothing I get
That's your tire.
But I had others. Hey, well, shit, hey, hit me when you get that done. Then. Like, it is what it is. It just
That's
depends on the
facts,
person. Like, so to me, if it's love first, then finances really, we'll figure it out. It come with it. But if it's finances first, it's finances only.
Where's
only.
the love?
You better have that money or I'm out. You gotta go. You better call your sister or somebody come get you.
And I ain't gonna lie, I truly
from they better be on the way.
I'll say this from a person that's just not married and that contemplates marriage. I will say my generation and in just my era, where marriage is looked at more so as a business now than ever. That's what deters people from truly wanting to be married. Because I don't agree completely with Courtney. He be overboard.
Courtney usually be wilding sometimes.
He be wilding, but at the same time, like he does. If you don't see a benefit to being
Hell
married,
no, I be
get
for real.
it. You feel me? Like just like you, I'm not coming to you at 28, 29, and I need to build you up or show you this shit. Like what? Like, I'm bringing shit to the table, and I need somebody yoked or that can bring something to the table. And it may not always be money. You may bring cleaning. You may bring some shit I don't think about. You may bring a peace of mind or organization. But that's somewhere as a conversation, you have to be able to communicate that to the partner, to the person that you're trying to marry. And right now, in this younger generation, and in my generation, the one right before, it's like women like, man, I got it. I don't need no man for this. You ain't finna talk to me crazy. I got another one to do it if you ain't gonna do it. And dudes is like, well, shit, I can go pay Shar to do this. I don't need no woman stable. I can pay her to clean. I can pay her to fuck. I can pay her to pick me up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's all money at this point. So there is no love.
It is a place. Like, bro, if I got my own money, I got my own car, got my own house, I take care of I'm good. What do you do that I can't have somebody else do? Bingo. Is the question. Now, that goes back to, all right, I actually care about you. If you pass that standard, what you provide to me is different. I can't get that from her. Only you provide. I can't explain it, but only you do that. Yeah. But if you don't do that, you do what
everybody else do. And I ain't finna tolerate it. You feel me? Because women become a headache. It's got to be something deeper than you pay bills or you touch me this way. It's got to be something different that keeps me around because I got to deal with your hair all over the place. Shit like that. But I'm just saying, like, it's got to be something different.
I still miss her. You know who
I agree with you.
Hit me. I'm
Say
sorry.
this a billion times. Like, if somehow me and my wife didn't work out, there's no way in the world I would ever get remarried.
That's a real feeling.
I agree.
Because the thing is, like you at the point that I always was scared of when I was young. I was like, if I ever get to the point where I already got everything together, I got a crib car, and I'm like, it's gonna be really hard for any female to get my attention because I grew up in a house like, yo, I can cook and I'm fine in the kitchen. Like most women, we can compete and I win. Yeah. I can fold and do all my clothes. I clean, do all that stuff. So it's like,
I ain't gonna cap. I got two females. If they call me right now, I marry them though. I'm gonna keep it real.
We all have.
Why would I marry him? One, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna close out because I got two. One represents my last healthy situation. That's why I always like everybody else. I kind of treat one type of way, but anytime I speak to that one, I always revert back to that because that was past the standard. The second one was a little bit more recent, But like one I had when I was super young. This one had like my adult one. So like we was all over everywhere with it. Like this is the second one was the one. I don't believe you have love at first sight, but if there was, that's about as close as it ever got. And like it was one of those like stop talking to Shorty for like a year. I moved out of town. I'm gone. She hit me back. We on, baby. Like I just talked to you yesterday.
I'm on the way home.
Hey, I gotta put my brother on the spot. Because he know who I'm talking about, man. Shorty hit me random one day, like when I have moved back. Oh, that's nice. I'm gonna come by and see when you free, bro. He was at my crib, bro. That's how you know it was different. Cause like he my witness. Like he knew I had like females. I'm gonna keep it real, running through the house, bro. Like the walk of shame, what we call it. She about to take the walk of shame. What's how I want to go? But like we ain't clean up or no. We ain't give a damn, girl. Come and go. When Shorty texts me, hey, bro, I need the whole house spotless, right? Spotless. Like that's the type of difference. Like if you know, you know, and if you don't know, you know, you just won't admit it yet. That's the difference.